Before I went to America, I had played with the rhythm section to Burning Embers. I was also the guitarist on the Brew sessions, which were the sessions that the Interference made. Bruce College, top of Patrick's Hill, big white building. They made the recordings that Interference made in Cork before they went to Dublin. I was the guitarist on those sessions. Then Interference went to Dublin. I'm in Cork. Going back to Midway wasn't an option. It was not tenable. So basically, I was rudderless, aimless, and on a Saturday afternoon, walking around Cork, rainy Saturday afternoon, kind of nothing on the horizon, I basically met a friend. And then another friend joined us, called Mark, who plays bass. I played with Mark when I was 14. Mark's parents are friends with my mum, so we got a bit of history. Mark was joined by two other guys. A guy called Rory, who plays keyboards. A guy called Cillian, who plays drums. Cillian Madden, great friend of mine, great guy, brilliant drummer. They've Garibaldi mould. Anyway, so we kind of move on. We start rehearsing in Cillian's house, in his garage, in Bishopstown. And we were the first fusion band in Cork City. Bonafide fusion band, Cork City, and we were called Mandrake Route. So basically, got to a point where I said, guys, we're going to have to get a singer if we want to get some gigs. So, does anybody know any vocalists? And Mark said, I actually know a guy. He's a good guy. I'll bring him along. So, next time we were rehearsing, Sunday night, guy came along. Really unassuming guy. Nice guy. And started singing, and he was like, really, really good. And we basically had a little huddle, and I said, we should take this guy. Simple as that. Don't bother asking anybody else. We'll take him if he wants to do it. And he said, yeah, I want in. Brendan O'Connor, RT. And I'm like, okay. So we rehearsed, got a set together, and basically played several gigs. Mainly school concerts, but we had a great time. Very, very well received. We didn't have the kind of crowds that Midway had, but they were good crowds. And got a bit of fame, and kind of got a bit of a reputation from it. And then school exams were hitting, so that was the end of that. I did basically play some solo gigs in Henry's. Those were the first gigs under my name. My bra on bass. I had Cillian on drums, Cillian Madden, and I also had Chris from Phoenix. Because technically speaking, I founded Phoenix with Gavin Hennessy. Gavin moved on to vocals, Chris took up the drums. Great drummer, brilliant guy. So then, after that, nothing happening. Twiddling thumbs, more of that. And basically, Rory from Mandrake Route calls me and said, I'm forming a band with another keyboard player. Do you want to join? We're looking for a guitar player. And I'm like, what do you want a guitar player for? I said, kind of unison lines, delay lines, some distortion, some fifth chords, some harmonies. Be interested? I'm like, yeah, definitely. And so that band was called Voltaire. And basically the lads would set up opposite each other on the keyboards. I'd set up in the middle and would play. Now, I mentioned that Cillian Murphy's band, Sarahdaze, they could have had that mezzanine level between Fontaine's DC and U2. They could have owned that middle ground and made it. Voltaire most certainly could have been on top of the pops. We could have had a modicum of fame. Like Alan with Sultans. Fantastic band, fantastic guy. But we could have had a bit of that. But again, the lads were moving on to high-end degrees. I was going to America. But Voltaire were certainly a band that you could have been hearing quite a bit about. Thank you for listening.